Hi! Do you have problem with your stitches? Do they not look correct? Do they bunch up like a bird nest? Then you're at the right video. Let's have a look how to fix it. Before you start changing your settings, you should rethread your sewing machine, because it could happen that something got loose, something isn't in the proper place, so instead of messing things up or making things worse by trying to fix the setting, rethreading machine is definitely recommended as a first thing to do. The second thing would be checking a needle and the fabric type you use. I will be making video on that, so once it's done I will link it down in the description. So you rethread your sewing machine, but the problem is still there. Now we can start talking about settings, specifically setting of your thread tension. What is a thread tension? Thread tension is an amount of how much thread can pass through the machine to create a stitch. So if we have a lot of thread passing through, stitch turns out to be loose, but on the other side, if we have too little of thread passing through, it can turn out to be quite tense. So we would want to set it up somewhere in the middle, where the stitch won't be too loose and neither too tight. The easiest way to see how tension is impacting your stitches is to have two different colored threads. I'm using red and a black one. You will also need a fabric scrap on which you are gonna practice your stitches with different tension. Our tension wheel is located up here. It is usually in this area because the tension that you are setting up, the tension discs, are located in this first line. For me, it's like in the second step. At the beginning, you want the tension to be set up somewhere in the middle where you have the line going on. And then once you start trying it out, we can decide if we want it tighter or looser. If we want it tighter, we are gonna move values up. If we want it looser, then we are gonna move down towards 0. But for now, I'll just have it at 4. You can test the stitches both zigzag and straight stitches. Zigzag, I would say, is more obvious, so let's try with that one. My sewing machine is set up to number 4 tension and a zigzag stitch. Let's see how it will turn out. And our first stitch looks pretty good. Here I backstitch, so that's why we see a little mess. But generally the stitch looks very pretty. We don't see much of each of a thread on the sides. I mean, we can see a little, but it's not too bad as we don't see it in each of the knots. This is pretty good. Now I'll keep my zigzag stitch, but I'll make the tension higher. Like, let's make it ridiculously high so we can see what will happen. This is our second stitch. It's a stitch on setting 8, and we can already feel that the fabric has bulked differently, because before it used to be flat. And we also see much more of the black going through the top thread. Back still looks fine. So this is what happens if you have too tight tension. Now let's try to do a complete opposite. Let's try to see what happens if we go, for example, to number 1. This is our third stitch with number 1. From top, it doesn't look bad. What about the bottom part? On the bottom part, we can start seeing much more of the red one. That means that our top thread is a bit looser than it should be. And that was how you test and set up your thread tension. For my project, I would be using tension number 4 because that seemed to be the most balanced out of options we have tried. I definitely recommend going middle first and then trying wiggling. And in the end, you don't want any of the threads to be poking too much to the other side. You want to try to keep them as much in middle as possible in order to make the best stitch. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe. If you have any questions, write them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!